Being a wife is not easy. This is a meaningful gift for your girlfriend, boyfriend, or those who are about to become brides, grooms, and in-laws. Marriage is a special kind of life, complicated. It requires nurturing mutual love, but it also needs to be well managed. To have a good marriage and successful life, you must learn how to firmly grasp the essential responsibilities of being a wife. Learn the wisdom of a good wife. Learn the skills to maintain a strong relationship with your husband, and learn how to handle situations and family matters effectively. These are all necessary lessons to become a capable and devoted wife. And here are the important lessons every good wife should learn. Marriage is incredibly complex. It doesn't just involve the relationship between two people, their personalities, habits, education levels, and personal qualities. It also stems from emotional foundations, genetic predispositions, and especially the environment in which they were raised, the family background, their parents' educational levels, the quality of their parents' marriage, and many other factors. It's certainly difficult to explain all these matters in a short amount of time. Even though many people who seek counseling want quick results, they often lack patience for in-depth analysis. However, I still hope to provide detailed breakdowns, a roadmap for emotional growth, and the development of the husband-wife relationship, so that people can recognize their roles within it. After reading this book, most wives or husbands will likely be able to apply more wisdom or skills to resolve issues between spouses. In a family, the wife can carry half the world. In a marriage, if the wife's role and ability are strong, the success rate of the marriage could be at least 50%. Because family and marriage often demand more from women, an excellent wife is not only expected to shoulder half the responsibility, but often even more. For young women, instead of letting a marriage end after trials and failures, it's best to begin by enhancing your understanding of marriage and recognizing your role in it. The beginning may seem gloomy, but what comes next can be an interesting journey. People often say knowledge changes fate. This isn't just a cliche. Learning to change your fate is a real thing. Through education, one can gain the wisdom, knowledge, and skills necessary to succeed. Being a wife is not easy. It's meant to help, to inspire, and to empower young women, whether they are married, about to get married, or simply dreaming of becoming someone's life partner, to learn, grow, and become wise, capable wives. Many girls, after getting married, wish for their marital life to be like 1 + 1 = 1, that she and the man she loves will stay together for life, sharing everything as one. She dreams of a shared home, a love that never grows cold, and believes they will grow better together, 2 as 1, walking side by side and enjoying life together. Many women have entered marriage with this yearning. However, they may quickly feel disappointed. First of all, love doesn't grow cold overnight. It fades gradually. Psychologically speaking, romantic love is just one phase of emotion and rarely lasts more than 24 months. Beyond love, it requires perseverance, responsibility, and commitment. Secondly, I'm certain that men change a lot after marriage. The man who once adored you during courtship, who never prioritized his pride when chasing after you, who treated you like a queen, he might rush to buy you McDonald's at 1 a.m. He is the one who obeyed and fulfilled your every wish. But I believe, once you're married, he'll only feel joy when he sees that he has made you happy. He will still spoil you, but only if you can spoil him too. He'll still be gentle, but only if you are softer toward him. If you want McDonald's at 1 a.m., he might just suggest you skip it and lose weight instead, and he won't go out to get it for you like before. Like it or not, this is how men change after marriage. The man who never demanded anything from you while dating will gradually expect more once you're married, though often expressed subtly or indirectly. He may love seeing you arrive home on time and would prefer you come home straight after work instead of lingering for coffee or shopping. He'll think staying home is more practical and saves money. He'll want you to tidy up, hate seeing the house look like a mess, and he'll want you to wash his socks, underwear, and shirts that he wears every day. Before marriage, he may have tried his best to buy you whatever you wanted. After marriage, you'll likely become the one managing the finances. He may even say to you one day, "We need to be more careful with money now that we have kids. We can't spend like we used to." Every time you visited his parents before the wedding, he would ask you to sit still while he helped his mom with chores. But after the wedding, if you visit his parents' house, he'll wink at you, implying you should help out while he sits and chats with his dad on the sofa. Before the wedding, he sweet-talked you nearly every day. After the wedding, he still speaks sweetly to you, just occasionally, or when he needs something. Men are like this. If you meet a man like that, don't assume you married the wrong person. Most men are the same. It's because their physical and psychological structures differ from women's, leading to very different responses to the same thing. When a woman believes that after a romantic wedding, she will finally live in a 1 plus 1 is equal to 1 world with the one she loves, the man often believes that after marriage, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. This shows the fundamental difference in thinking and emotional logic between women and men. Women often approach marriage more emotionally, while men tend to be more rational. That's why they usually have different feelings and expectations about marriage. Especially, women place high hopes on marriage. I believe that every bride who has worn a wedding dress has attached her happiness and future dreams to the marriage, immersing herself in the fantasy of a perfect future. Precisely because of such high expectations, when reality strikes, women are often the ones who feel most disappointed. In truth, I believe men are right. Marriage is simply about living together. The wedding ceremony merely allows a man and a woman to sign a 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 contract and begin a long-term life together. Men transition from boyfriends to husbands, and women from girlfriends to wives. This is a completely new role that demands women adjust both physically and mentally to truly thrive in it. Young couples who communicate well will have more meaningful conversations and better understand each other. Conversely, couples who rarely talk often drift apart, leading to conflict. Many of the couples I've counseled separated within a short time, and most of those marriages ended in divorce. After counseling many marriages, I've seen that emotional maturity and adaptability, especially from women, are crucial. The most important thing is the woman's growth and wisdom. In most of the happy marriages I've seen, there is always a good wife. I've often said that a good wife is the source of a strong family. A family that stays together and strong enough to chase a happy life doesn't depend on fate, but on whether the wife can shoulder the burden. Former U.S. President George W. Bush was born into a wealthy family. Before meeting his wife Laura, he was a heavy drinker, womanizer, and had no real job. At a friend's party, he met a beautiful woman, Laura, the love of his life. Laura changed his life completely. Her grace and softness tamed the wild George W. Bush, a reckless stallion desperate for a sense of normalcy. He started focusing on education, gave up his bad habits, followed his father's advice, got into politics, and eventually became the second U.S. president from the Bush family. In his memoir, he repeatedly thanked his wife Laura and believed that having a wife like her was his greatest blessing. She helped turn his life around and was the reason for his fate's transformation. Every man wants success and wealth. But I believe that a man with a good wife is the richest man in the world, because a good wife is priceless in a man's life. Tien had been married for less than a year when her marriage began to face turmoil. She and her husband are currently separated, and she has returned to her parents' home, where she enjoys a life of pampering and care. Tien feels that all the hardships have passed, and life is once again filled with happiness. Sitting in my counseling office, she poured her heart out with bitterness. Before I got married, I was my parents' princess. When we were dating, my boyfriend treated me like a princess too. But after we got married, he started treating me like a housewife. I didn't know how to cook, so I bought a bunch of cookbooks, and he made me learn. On Sundays, I wanted to go shopping with my friends, but he insisted I stay home and clean. Before we got married, he said I wouldn't have to do laundry because all our clothes would be sent to the dry cleaner. But after the wedding, he said dry cleaning was expensive and made me learn how to use the washing machine. He expected me to wash everything, even his dirty underwear. He hadn't even done that for his parents before, so why should I do it for him? I asked Tien, "What do you expect from a husband?" She said, "He should absolutely spoil me. I'm used to being treated like a princess. If he wants to be with me, he must be gentle, tolerant, and treat me like my parents do. Everything should go according to what I want. He shouldn't force me to do things I don't like. I love him because he makes me happy, not because I want to wash clothes and cook every day." Looking into Tien's innocent eyes, I asked her gently, Tien, do you think marriage still holds the same meaning for you as it did before? Why did you rush to wear that white dress? Tien suddenly widened her eyes and exclaimed, "Because my boyfriend proposed to me." I was at a loss for words in response to Tien's answer. Here was a girl completely unprepared for marriage, someone who didn't understand what the word wife meant and yet had become someone else's wife. In truth, I've encountered many girls like Tien. Not long ago, I was on vacation on an island in Indonesia with a group of 8 people. Among us was a newlywed couple on their honeymoon. The 3 young men were all born in 1980. One of the women was born in 1985 and the other in 1990. While traveling together, I had the opportunity to observe the life of this newlywed couple. Among the three girls, one stood out with her simplicity and calm demeanor. She was gentle and responsible, fulfilling her role as a wife, always helpful and considerate. She supported her husband and demonstrated maturity through her actions. The other two girls didn't fare so well. One was spoiled and easily lost her temper, frequently yelling at her husband in public and demanding he serve her favorite dishes at meals, treating him like a servant. The girl born in 1990 was even more difficult. She wore revealing clothing and seemed indifferent to the people around her. She smoked constantly, had yellowing teeth, and showed little respect for others. At the table, both of these girls were the first to declare that they wouldn't cook, wouldn't clean, and that their husbands would do everything. Their husbands even competed in grilling. One complained that his wife wouldn't eat rice or meat because she wanted to stay slim and only ate healthy food. The responsibility of cooking fell to him, even though he was tired and unsure what to prepare. Since it was still their honeymoon, I didn't say anything. But how long could this fairy tale last? I felt a sense of concern for them. If these men remained focused on family and didn't face too much pressure from their careers, perhaps they could continue spoiling their wives like this. But from what I know, most men carry a heavy burden, juggling work, ambition, and family responsibility. When exhausted outside the home, it's hard to believe they can come home and still pamper their wives. I doubt they'll continue to do so. Eventually, these women will face hardship if they don't change their roles and responsibilities. Given the current situation, I see no sign of their readiness to adapt to life as wives. What is a wife? I've discussed this with many soon-to-be married women. To me, a wife is not just someone who is spoiled by her husband. A wife is also someone whose hands know warmth and cold, someone who brings comfort to a tired man. A wife is someone who takes care of others, knows when to give her husband space to save face in front of others. When something happens, she remains calm and composed. A wife shoulders the responsibilities of a family. Don't expect your husband to help with everything. Even if he offers to help with laundry, the cleanliness of the house should still rest in your hands. Most importantly, a wife should be a woman of warmth, with a warm smile, a gentle heart, and a loving personality. She should make her home a haven, a place where her husband doesn't want to leave. A wife is someone who sustains love and makes marriage last. Through long-term marriage counseling, I found that one major reason for high divorce rates is that many women do not fully understand the role and responsibilities of a wife. If one cannot be a good wife, it is naturally difficult to have a happy marriage. When all our wives look like princesses, it's hard to say how long such a marriage can last, because that largely depends on the man's endurance. I believe every woman will treasure her marriage and want to preserve it, hoping it lasts forever. I don't question your loyalty, but if you truly want your marriage to thrive, the first step is understanding and adapting to your role as a wife. You must recognize that after the wedding, you can no longer maintain a princess mentality because your role has changed, your environment has changed, and the dynamic between you and your husband has changed. You've become his wife, and he has become your husband. Now you are life partners, equal, close, and interdependent. You are no longer a princess pampered by your parents. Every day, you are gradually becoming a housewife. It might sound cruel, but it's true. By accepting the vows of marriage, you've made a commitment, and with that comes responsibility. You need to devote yourself, maybe even sacrifice part of your own desires, to protect your marriage. That is the price of your happiness and joy. The sooner you abandon the princess mindset and embrace the role of a homemaker, someone who brings warmth to the family, the easier it becomes to adjust to your new life. Marriage brings happiness, but it also demands growth and responsibility. Of course, taking on this new role often comes with pain. You may not yet fully understand your responsibilities, but I believe that as long as you love your husband and your family, adjusting to your role will not be as difficult as it seems. I believe a modern wife must first know how to find her own happiness, to apply wisdom in her family life, not just follow instinct. If you don't want to shoulder all the housework, you can let your husband help, but you must respect and acknowledge his effort when he does. I always believe that cooking and doing housework together can be a beautiful part of married life. I especially disagree with the idea that women must do all the housework. That would only make men feel lazy or useless, and it does not help maintain a healthy marriage. Recently, many so-called miserable wives online are exactly the kind of women who expect men to work hard outside while they don't lift a finger at home. These women often end up feeling like used tissues, discarded once the husband no longer needs them. Marriage is a partnership. A smart wife will create opportunities for her husband to participate. A warm home managed together can keep both partners invested. So, turning from a princess into a homemaker isn't just a shift in status. It's a growth in capability. A good wife is not just someone who can cook or clean. She is someone who understands, motivates, and empowers her husband. When a woman knows how to nurture her family, her home becomes lush and vibrant like a tree nurtured with fresh water. 5 ways to achieve role transformation in marriage. 1. Understand the role of a wife and be willing to take on the responsibilities that come with it. 2. Accept the personal changes that come with marriage and adjust your role accordingly. 3. The key to adjusting your role lies not in appearance, but in substance. 4. Be ready for your husband to see you as a homemaker, not a princess. Only then can the marriage be sustainable. 5. Maintain emotional sensitivity in love and respond with rationality in marriage. Being a wife also requires using intelligence and strategic thinking.